Type 1 diabetes, it is the type of diabetes which is insulin dependent. So this type of diabetes is not so much a problem. Type 2 diabetes is not so much a problem with the shortage of insulin. In fact, when diagnosed, most of these diabetics have plenty of insulin in their body. But what is the problem? The problem is that the pancreas, part of the digestive system, it cannot produce enough insulin and it cannot do its work properly. So other kinds of diabetes is called type 1, insulin dependent, which is different disease altogether. But this one, you find that a percentage of 5 to 10 of all the diabetes. These are not common. So these individuals have lost their ability to make adequate amount of insulin and must take insulin by injection. Have you ever seen someone injecting themselves that way with a small syringe? Have you ever seen them? Yes, so those people, they are insulin dependent, their body cannot produce enough insulin, and so they must put the real insulin into their bodies. So this is the type of diabetes of the type 1. It is a disease that develops as children or young adults, and they are usually thin. In today's talk, we will focus on type 2, the non-insulin dependent diabetes. So you may be asking yourself, how does the disease work? How does diabetes work? You may be asking yourself. This is a simple illustration to help each of us. Do we all know what this man is putting into the car? What is he putting in? Fuel, yes, that is good. It could be gasoline, in diesel, or petroleum. So what is the importance of this petroleum? What is its function? What is the function of the fuel? What is the function? It makes the vehicle to run, isn't it? Yes. So when there is no fuel, can it run? No. So also in our bodies, we have something that acts like fuel. And what is that? Sugars. What is that? Sugars. So sugars are our main fuel in our bodies. This is glucose. So what gasoline is to your car, glucose is to the cells of your body. However, glucose can be converted into energies in the presence of insulin. So in order for glucose to work very well in your body, you need what? Insulin. And so we are seeing that insulin is a hormone needed to convert sugars. Are we together? The starches and other food energies. And we also see it works like a key. Insulin works like a key to open the door of your body's cell, allowing glucose to enter into the cell of your body. So however, if there is not enough insulin, as in type 1 diabetes, or if the locks of the door are gummed up so that insulin key have trouble opening them, as often occurs in type 2 diabetes, then the blood sugar levels can rise to be dangerous levels. So what are the warning signs? How can you know when someone is having diabetes? These are from the research which was done in 2014, September 12. So here is the first one. You can say it. Excessive thirst. You will feel like all the time you want to take water, all the time, even you can take the whole jerrycan a day. If you're seeing when you're taking too much water all the time, just know that could be a sign or a symptom of diabetes. The second one, Frequent urination. All the time you want to go and shit. All the time you want to go and shit. You see someone all the time they're always using the common room. Just know they could be having what? Diabetes. Thank you. Then the third one. Excessive appetite. Everything. Bring. I eat. For them, they cannot refuse anything. That excessive appetite is not good. At least you need to have normal appetite. Yes. So, now this is alarming. Still, the research in America, 2014, that most people, a quarter of the society, they are diabetic, but they don't know. Did you know that even here we could be having people having diabetes, but they don't know? Yes, they will just go to the health center. They're like, oh, doctor, I always take water all the time. I always feel like urinating all the time. I always feel excessive thirst and all that. To diagnose and to check them, you find that they're having what? Diabetes. And out of that, 1 out of the 3 have pre-diabetes, but they don't know because of the sedentary lifestyle they are having. You eat food, you don't use it. So you need to exercise our bodies if we want to reverse this. So as the disease progresses, you start feeling thirst, excessive appetite, all that. As all those progress in life, the disease will start affecting it devastates, affecting all the body organs of the body, and gradually it will destroy them. So as we are seeing here, it will be diagnosed in the blood and even your signs and symptoms. Then there it will go in the bones. You will start feeling joint pain. Then there it will also affect your digestive system. There it comes to your nerves. Also you will find that the heart, the lungs, they are also affected. So before you get the disease, please, we need to know how can we prevent it. How together? Yes, we must know. Because it has complications. Number 1, you will get eye problems. You will see this person, they cannot see people in front of them, or they just see people far from them, or either of the two, or they see cloudy, or they see blue-red. Those are the colors they see in their eyes. Even when you're not seeing blue-red, for them they're already what? Seeing. And this, it will later on become into blindness. When you start seeing blue-red vision, all that. So, the second complication is kidney damage. So, diabetics are more likely to experience serious kidney damage. Many of them, up to 40%, eventually experience kidney failure. And what do the kidneys do? They excrete all the toxins out of your body. Now, if your kidney is damaged, will you have your toxins out of your body, or they will remain in you? They will remain in you. That means you're not healthy. So, another complication is heart disease and stroke. Diabetes is a potent promoter of atherosclerosis, the plugging of the arteries. You find the arteries are blocked, and blood can't flow very well through the heart. So, we are seeing here that the high risks of diabetics are 2 to 4 times more likely to suffer from heart attacks and stroke. This is from the research that was made in 2015. Yes, so what are other complications? 1, we are seeing sexual impotence. Here, a man will not work as a man, or a woman, you will be disturbed, you will have those issues. And then we also have ulcerative sores. You will start getting wounds, like more especially on soft tissues, Like where you don't expect a wound to come, it comes there. And it is very tricky even to go to the hospital and you say, doctor, I'm having some wounds here. Where exactly? Here. You don't even want to speak the place where they are. So when you see that, it is also a complication of what? Of diabetes. Then another, we have what? Infections. You will always have coughs, flus, and all those others. Then we also have what? Amputations. Amputations, this is when, like, when you get a wound and you're time to heal, it may not even save you because it will be affecting other tissues of your body. You may find the wound which was just here, it is affecting up to here, and they say, let us save your life, let us just cut the hand from here. So when they cut off your hand, so you remain like you don't have this other part. So that means you're amputated. That is a complication of what? Diabetes. Should we just be lazy and we don't know how we can prevent diabetes? No, we should know how we can prevent it and reverse it. Then, to women, what will they experience? Breast and uterine cancers. So all these make life complicated. So, what causes this non-insulin dependent, this type 2? What causes it? Is it a genetic matter? Is it that because my grandfather was having it, so I'm also having risks of getting it? Is it like that? Not really. It is not genetical. It is not what? It's not genetical. It's true that certain population groups are they are prone to diabetes. For example, among the Pima Indians, because of their lifestyle. But that doesn't mean that diabetes, it is a culprit of what? Of genetics. Because when you go to the Western diet and the lifestyle to turn the genetic tendencies into an epidemic of diabetes. So more and more researchers are concluding that hereditary is not destiny. So it's not that because my mother was having it, so I will also get it. It is just about your lifestyle. It's about your what? Especially if you eat well and exercise, you will have prevented it. Even if you have it, as long as you eat well, you change, and you exercise very well, you change how you've been eating, and you change into the proper diet, still you can reverse it. So diabetes is not hereditary. A closely related tribe of Pima Indians living in Mexico has an active farming lifestyle. They keep farming all the time, exercising, and they eat a traditional diet, and they experience far less diabetes. That means diabetes is just due to the lifestyle, poor lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle. So what is the problem? What is the real problem of diabetes type 2? It is sedentary lifestyle. So in the normal process of digestion, carbohydrates are broken down into glucose. But we said what helps? What helps in the body to break them into? It is insulin. Yes, insulin. It comes, then it opens the cell so that the cell can access that what? That glucose. So, we have seen that carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, which enters into the blood circulation, and it stimulates the pancreas to release insulin in the proper amount. Remember that insulin is like the key that encourages the body cells to allow glucose to enter the what? The cell. So where it can be used as energy. Now in type 2 diabetes, the body cell cannot take up the glucose. The body cells cannot take up the what? It can't take it up properly, leading to high levels of glucose in the blood. Insulin resistance means that although the body can produce insulin, the body's cells do not respond properly to the insulin that is made. Over time, the pancreas reduces the amount of insulin that it produces. So this resistance to insulin appears to be directly related to certain lifestyle factors. So many studies have demonstrated a strong relationship between fats and diabetes. Both fats in the diet and fats in the body. The more fat there is in the diet, the more difficulty for insulin to get glucose into the cell. So diabetes is rare in areas of the world where fat intake is low and obese is uncommon. So fat and diabetes, more fats in the diet equals more difficulty for glucose to get into the what? The cells. And what will be the result? I'm not hearing you well? Diabetes. So now what should we do? We reduce on our fats intake. Are we together? Even if you want to reverse it and you're diabetic, just reduce the fats intake and you see wonders. So how about inactivity? A sedentary lifestyle is one of the primary contributors to obese and insulin resistance. Too many calories and too little exercise are recognized as the key risk factors for diabetes type 2. So what can we do to disarm diabetes? Numerous studies suggest that a comprehensive lifestyle approach is the best defense to protect from this disease of diabetes. So many diabetics can normalize their body sugar levels often within a matter of weeks by adopting optimal lifestyle program. So here are the key points. Now these ones you need to take note of them so that you see how can you reverse diabetes. Number 1. I'm not hearing you. Eat a low fat. Lowering the amount of fats and oil in the diet plays a crucial role in the prevention and reverse of type 2 diabetes. So when less fat is eaten, the sensitivity to insulin is gradually restored. Then the best way to achieve this is to eat an unrefined plant-based diet with the exclusion of all animal products and refined foods. Go to the market, buy yourself these fruits, these foods here, you see. You eat them, you will reverse the what? The diabetes. In addition to eating more natural, fiber-rich foods plays an important role by helping stabilize blood sugar levels. Foods high in fiber include whole grain cereals, bread, cooked beans and peas, fruits and vegetables. All these are high in fiber, so you need to eat them. You want to fight it, you want to prevent it, eat high fiber foods, vegetables, cooked beans and peas, fruits, vegetables, all those, bread, whole wheat, all such kind of things. And the next point we are saying is exercise regularly. Through regular exercise, the need of insulin for injection can often be reduced, or oral medications frequently become unnecessary. So exercising muscles needs fuel. Regular physical activity enables the sugar to enter the body's cells even without insulin. So that means when we keep exercising, you don't need even insulin. You don't need to keep injecting yourself with these injections of insulin. If you are diabetic, the best thing to do is to start exercising. Achieving a healthy weight is of vital importance in disarming diabetes. And health experts are warning that obesity is rising to epidemic proportions. These are overweight, and normalizing weight is often all it takes to bring blood sugars back to normal. So the best approach to achieve and maintain a healthy weight is not dieting, but a permanent change in the way we live. Making the switch to a low-fat, plant-based diet and eating meat of calories at breakfast and lunch and all that is excellent choice. Coupled with active daily exercise, these things can help you experience lasting success. As you can see, diabetes is largely preventable if you eat in time. You eat foods which are not refined, you eat high fiber foods, you exercise, all that. How will you get diabetes? You're using the body. How will you get diabetes? There is no way. So diabetes is preventable. So the good news is that those who already have the disease can control it, and many can reverse it without drugs by following a healthy lifestyle. It is tragic that it often takes irreversible complications before people really get serious about their diabetes. Don't wait until a heart attack, until blindness, until amputation. Please, well, we heard about diabetes. May God bless you. How many of you are saying, by the grace of God, we will follow the points we have had so that we will prevent diabetes? We don't want to fall sick of diabetes. We will do our exercise, we will eat high fiber, we will keep exercising. Okay, may God bless you abundantly. We will raise up and ask God to enable us. Thank you, God. Thank you, loving Father, for teaching us about the prevention and disarming diabetes. How we pray that you bless each one of us who have come here and those listening on online. We pray that you help us to follow the healthy lifestyle that will be able to prevent it. How we pray that you also provide for us the resources that we will be able to get the high fiber food diet and help us to change our lifestyle so that we will be healthy, because it is your will that we will be healthy, praise and glorifying you. Bless each one of us. Thank you for coming.
Good evening. How are we today? Yesterday we talked about 2 home remedies. Who remembers what we talked about? Yes, at the back. Ginger, and what else? Yes, Irish. How many tried out those 2 poultices? Or rather, how many are planning to try them out? All right, so today we want to look at 2 other simple things that we have at home that we can also use to improve on our health. We have, what's that? Onion and garlic. These ones are almost in every home because they are majorly used for cooking. But apart from cooking, we can have other uses to improve our health. Onion has anti-inflammatory properties as well, and that makes it handy, both cooked and in raw form. So how can we use cooked onion for home treatment or home remedy? Now, when you're cooking it for treatment, you need to cook it whole as it is, without peeling, without removing the skin. So you can steam it, or you can boil it in little water. Then after boiling it whole without peeling, cut it into 2 halves. Cut it into 2 halves. Then, because it is heated or it is steamed, the heat is still retained in it. So how can we use it when heated or when cooked? Two main things we can do. If you have earache, you can, after heating it or boiling it, wrap with a piece of cloth. Then, to keep that temperature, if you can get a woolen piece of cloth, then you wrap it on top of your light cloth and just put it on your ear and get some rest for 30 minutes to 1 hour, and that is able to relieve you of the earache. What you can use it also when cooked is when you have boil, especially place where you cannot do poultices like what we did yesterday, Irish or ginger. Maybe you have boils inside your nose or in some places. Just wrap it still after cooking it and place it there. You can hold it with a piece of cloth and let it stay there for a while. What it does, because of that heat and their anti-inflammatory property, it draws the pus to the central point. So the heat will help it to release that pus. So when you continue, it will actually burst by itself. Because it is eternal, you cannot work on it. It will burst by itself and release the pus. The other way we can use onion in the raw form is chop it in slices. Chop it in slices. You can use it for sore throat. Remember, we said you can't sleep with ginger because it gets hot, but you can sleep with onion. It does not burn. So chop it in slices and wrap on a piece of cloth. Slicing it increases the surface area. So after you've sliced, just wrap it. Fold it. Remember, we always said to use the bottom part. So tie it around the throat. Just plait it on your throat and put a polythene on your throat. Then you can shield it with a polythene because you can sleep with it. You don't want to mess with your bed sheet. Then just do a scarf around it and you can sleep with it. The other way is to help with cough, especially for babies. After you've chopped it this way, put it under the feet, on the sole of the feet. Then put on the socks and let them sleep with it. It will help with a cough or any chest congestion. The feet, we are told, is always an index of the chest, the abdomen, and the head. So if there is any congestion in those parts, then it will relieve, and the child will wake up improved. And you can also put it in the house. When the baby is coughing, just cut it in slices, put on a plate, then put it beside the bed. It will also help. If you have a freshly painted house and the smell is not friendly, chop pieces, put in a bowl or plate, and put in the corners of the house. It will take away that false smell of the paint. Then we had garlic also. Garlic can do almost the same things with onion. It is also good for chest problems. So onion does not burn, but garlic can burn if put directly on the skin. So what you need to do, just take, if it is a child, just take cloves, or just a clove of garlic, then thinly slice it, thinly slice it, and arrange those slices on a small piece of cloth. Don't crush. Just arrange them on the small piece of cloth and put under the sole or under the feet. Then put on the socks. That one you don't have to do it necessarily at night, even during the day. And as they keep running, playing around, they step on that garlic. They will be crushing it, and it will be entering into their body, helping them to decongest any kind of congestion they may be having on the chest, or cough or flu. And garlic is anti-many things, antiviral, antibiotic, and so even you can use it as antibiotic as well. It is also a blood thinner, thins blood. So those who suffer from high blood pressure, you can make garlic your friend. But because it is very strong, you can mix it with onion. Just take a small piece of onion with some 2 cloves of garlic, crush it or blend it with a half glass of water, and take that in the evening. It will help you to manage your pressure. You can also make a cough syrup out of these two. The easiest is onion. Slice it. Just slice it into smaller pieces. Or chop it in tiny pieces. Now, onion syrup only takes 24 hours to make. The garlic one, the longer it stays, the better. If it stays for 2 weeks, that makes it work best. So, how do we make syrup? We need just the onion and honey. Be sure to get pure raw honey. So, have your container, just scoop some sliced onion, one layer, then add a tablespoon of honey, and you add another layer of onion, add another tablespoon of honey. So giving it layer like that and pouring honey on it, you want the honey really to marinate or to mix well with your onion, and the onion can release its juice to mix with that honey. So after you've done that, make sure honey is your top layer. Then keep it in a cool place for 24 hours. So that means if we make it now, we can use it tomorrow in the evening. So this one we are making, you can have a look tomorrow in the evening. The honey is thick, but after 24 hours, it will be runny. It will be very thin because of the onion juice. So for a child, just give a teaspoon twice a day. For adults, they can take the tablespoon, and that will do them well. Onion, just 24 hours. Garlic, the longer it stays, the better. We'll stop there for today. Then tomorrow we shall combine them all together and see how we can use them to help. All right. Any pressing question on garlic and onion? How many are praying that God may help them to make use of them and improve their health? Amen. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another demo.
Good evening. Waliwo ku ffe abatawulira Luzungu Badde nsaba oba oluzungu toluwulira bulungi otuuleko ku ntebe eri awo ku kisenge ekyo oba mungoberere we ngenda okutuula angenda kuba mbaddiramu mu Luganda ng'onaayogera mu Luzungu. Mwebale.
Good evening. Good evening. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me? We are checking our mic. Can you hear me? All right, so welcome to Health Expo again. How many of you have received a service this evening? You have been served. They checked you on something, maybe your pressure, maybe your heart rate, maybe your blood glucose. Anyone who has been served? Let me see. I see some hands there. That's nice. Maybe you did not finish the services you want to finish. I welcome you to come again tomorrow night. We shall continue like that until Sunday. So if you have some service you want to continue to get that you didn't get today, we welcome you to come again tomorrow and get that service. What time are we opening? At 5 p.m. So we want you to come when you have finished your work so that our program does not affect your work. But we welcome you and we thank you for coming this evening. We are giving this free offer to those who are in attendance. There is a wonderful, amazing Health Facts magazine. This magazine covers all the elements of health that are being talked about here. We talked about diabetes yesterday, we talked about high blood pressure, and we are going to continue talking about more of these lifestyle conditions. We would wish for you to be benefited, and so we are giving you this amazing Facts Health magazine. If you come how many times? 10 times. Today is night number 3. How many have made it for the 3 days? Oh, I see a good number, okay? If you have not made it for the 3 days, you can begin today and keep coming. What you need to do is to ensure that you fill this paper. And I'm going to show you where to put it at the end when you are leaving. When you fill this paper and you leave it behind, then every night you come, you will come with this little kitchen code, that one that has a number on it. You pass by the table, you say present, present. By the time you reach the 10th night, you get that magazine for free. This session is for Boost Your Brain Power. How many came with their brains? I see. I hope you came with a working, thriving brain. Many of us have working brains, but our brains are not achieving the full potential. The first day we looked at refresh your brain. We saw some simple techniques that you can use so that your brain can improve in memory and thinking and calculations. Yesterday, can somebody remind me what we talked about? Exercise your brain. Let me see anyone who exercised today. Anyone who exercised today? Wow, that's powerful. I told you that you need to start and ask for God's help. God cannot force you to exercise, but you can make the choice and ask God to bless your what? To bless your choice, and God will help you. Tonight, our topic is rest your mind. Rest your mind. A simple solution to getting ahead of the rest. Have you ever slept when the lecturer was teaching or the preacher was preaching in church? You dozed off? Has it happened to you? What does that indicate? Maybe it indicates that the professor or the teacher is boring. So if I see you sleeping now, I might think of myself that I need to give up this profession of teaching because it's not working. Maybe I'm very boring. Or maybe it could be that you ate too much. So, not enough oxygen is going to the head, much oxygen is going to the stomach. Or it could be that you have not had enough sleep, and so the body is demanding you sleep, but it is demanding the sleep in the wrong place. So tonight we want to talk about resting the mind. Our society today is sleeping lesser and lesser. And especially with the coming of digital technology, people are not getting enough sleep today. And even the way in which we work has changed. We have now embraced a 24-hour economy. Some people work the whole night and sleep half of the day. So not many people are blessed with sleep. This was a comparison with how much sleep people are getting in 2001 versus 2009. So they were saying that people were sleeping 20% less than 100 years ago. But then, if that was just 20% less, something had happened. By 2017, the people who were sleeping for less hours became greater than those who are sleeping for more hours. They sleep for 6 hours or less today. People almost feel as though sleep is a waste of what? A waste of time. If the body could only support them to go without sleeping, they would feel well. But how much sleep do you need? How much sleep do you need? Well, it depends. It all depends. For a newborn baby that is about 2 months old, they often get about 12 to 18 hours of sleep a day, so they are only awake 6 hours. I wish they could take me back to that time. And then for 3 months to 1 year old, 15 hours to 15 hours. So those who are 1 to 3 years old, 12 hours to 14 hours. 3 to 5 year olds, 11 hours to 13 hours of sleep. 5 to 12 years old, 10 hours to 11 hours. 18. Some of you are in that category now, 12 to 18. How much sleep do you need? About 8.5 hours to 9.25 hours. But the great category of us who don't sleep the highest are those above 18. We need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. But more and more people are sleeping lesser and lesser today. Now sleeping, it is the easiest and yet the hardest thing to do. To sleep, you don't need energy. You might just find that you have slept. Very easy. You don't have to go to school to learn how to sleep, isn't it? Yet sleeping is very hard. When is sleeping easy? Sleeping is the easiest thing to do in the morning when you know you should wake up. When you know that it's time to wake up and you have a lot of things to do, oh, sleep can be sweet. And sleep is easy. The bed is very welcoming at that time. But sleeping is very hard at night or in the evening when you have assignments to do. When you have somebody to chat with on WhatsApp or on Instagram. When you have a video you want to watch a movie. Sleeping is very hard. There are so many young people who sleep past midnight because they were still chatting. They are even in bed. They have covered themselves, but they are chatting. The hardest thing to do at night. How much sleep are you getting tonight? Let me ask you that question. How much sleep have you been receiving? Well, does a lack of sleep affect the functioning of your brain? We are looking at how to use our brains the best way for best results. But does being sleep deprived undermine the performance of your brain? According to medical news, life sciences, too little sleep reduces our cognitive abilities and it has negative impact on physical health. So, little sleep will affect your cognitive abilities, that is mental health, and then your physical health, both ways, little sleep. And above all else, a lack of sleep can impair the ability to retain new information in the memory. Well, you can sit in class and listen. You can read a book or study. But then, when it comes to time to remember, the memory is not doing very well. Maybe because we are not getting enough sleep. You see, when you sleep, the body seems to shut down, but there's one part of our bodies that does not shut down, the brain. The brain is active while you are sleeping. And it is at night when the brain processes the information and puts it into files, and then it helps your memory to remember it later on. So, when you don't have enough sleep, it could hinder learning or the learning process. So research is showing us, sometimes somebody spends a whole night because there's an exam tomorrow. They cram the whole information. They said, if this one comes tomorrow, I'm scoring all of it. The next day, the same questions they learned came, but they failed because the system up here jumbled it up because it never got sleep. So they don't seem to recall what they were supposed to recall. That means, therefore, that without adequate sleep, the brain becomes foggy, your judgment becomes poor, and even your fine motor skills, the skills that help you with memory and calculations and all this reasoning, they are affected. Lack of sleep impairs a person's ability to focus and learn efficiently. Lack of sleep. Sleep is necessary in order to consolidate a memory or to make something to stick so that it can be recalled in the future. So many times people will study longer thinking that, I just need it in my head. But if you're not getting sleep, your body is not getting the opportunity to store those things in order so that you can remember them clearly. So memory is very, very important. How many of you have ever forgotten an information you really needed at some point? Okay, it could be that you had the information, yes, it was somewhere in the brain, but because you did not sleep, the brain could not recall it back so that you can use it at the right time. This is the process of acquiring knowledge. Number one, we call this acquisition. Acquisition happens when you read a book or you listen to a lecture like this one. So today you are acquiring information. You are learning. So the information goes into your brain. Number two is consolidation. This is where the brain puts this information in a certain way so that when you need it, you can recall it. The third one is the recall. The recall is the point where you need to remember what was in the storage. Now here is what happens. Acquisition of knowledge and recalling of knowledge, the two things happen when you are awake. So now you are awake, you are listening to me, isn't it? When I ask you this information tomorrow so that you recall it, you will still be awake. But the consolidation of the information happens when you are asleep. The brain does the consolidation when you are asleep. So then if we don't sleep enough, the brain cannot consolidate the information. In fact, they have found out that a man who has not slept enough is just as terribly disadvantaged as an alcoholic. Do they test people for drunkenness in Uganda, drunk drivers? The drivers who are drunk on the road, do they have machines for testing them? In my country, Kenya, they have these machines where they can stop a vehicle and then they check your breath whether it has an alcohol content. Drivers fear that test. Some of them abandon vehicles, a taxi with the passengers, they run for their lives because they know they are drunk. Now it is estimated that if somebody has been awake for 19 hours without sleep, it is the same in effect to someone who has 0.05% alcohol content in their blood. If you have been awake for 24 hours without sleep, it is the same as having 0.1% of alcohol in your blood. This is above the limit that is allowed by the law. So, the police might charge you for being drunk when you never took alcohol. You only never slept for 24 hours because it is the same effect that happens. So consolidation is required. Now the place that is affected the most when we don't sleep is your hippocampus, which is the area of your brain that deals with storage for long-term memories. This is the brain part of memory. Hippocampus. Now this time when the information is stored in your brain, is during a certain type of sleep that we call the delta wave sleep. There are different cycles of sleep. And every night you go through these 4 different cycles. There is a time when you are roughly awake, very light sleep. That is called the alpha state. And then there is the theta state, which is also light sleep. But then we have the delta state. This is a deep, deep sleep. During this deep sleep time, this is when the information you gather during your hours of being awake is filed and stored in a way that later on you can bring it back to your memory. So, this makes us to conclude that it is not just how long you sleep that matters, but the cycles or sleep cycles that you go through. So, you may have slept long, but if you didn't have enough sleep cycles for that kind of consolidation to take place, never. This article here that was published by this remarkable newspaper called the Huffington Post, it says, lose sleep, what else do you lose? Lose your mind, what else do you lose? Lose your health. Lose sleep, lose your mind, lose your health. So then, let us see what happens when you have lost 1 night of sleep. After just 1 night of sleep, according to these researchers, this is what might happen. Number 1, you get hungrier and you might eat more than you eat on normal days. So when you see someone overeating, the problem may be they have not what? They didn't sleep well. They are sleeping more, they are eating more than they eat normally. Number 2, you are more likely to have an accident. Accident in the kitchen, accident on the road, accident where you're working, because the brain does not focus if you lack sleep. Number 3, you're not looking your best, or you're not most approachable. So that means that you are grumpy. The look on your face, even people look at you, they think something is really wrong with this guy today because you're different. Number 4, you're more likely to catch a cold. A person who is not slept well, their immune system is affected and goes down. And then when a cold or a flu comes, it takes you quickly. Then number 5, you lose your brain tissue. And this is very dangerous for someone who wants to boost their what? Their brain, if you want to boost your brain. A recent study of 15 men published in the journals called Sleep found that just 1 night of sleep deprivation was linked with signs of brain tissue loss. Just 1 night has a link with losing your brain tissue. I don't want to do that. So lack of sleep, according to Forbes magazine, lack of sleep kills brain cells. A new study shows. You want to kill brain cells or you want to grow new brain cells? Tell me, yesterday we learned that somebody can actually grow new brain cells. How do you do that? By vigorous exercise, regular exercise, you grow new brain cells. But what is the shortcut for killing brain cells? By losing sleep. So you might be doing good exercise, but again, you are killing those cells when you don't sleep. If you are burning the midnight oil, what does it mean to burn the midnight oil? Studying at night without sleep. If you're burning the midnight oil, you may be burning out your brain cells too. A new research now shows. So, we need to really, really be careful with that. So losing your brain tissue is something also. Then, another effect of losing sleep is you're more likely to get emotional. People are just talking, there is no one fighting, you immediately start arguing, and you become very tough. The problem might be you never did what? You didn't sleep enough. That's the issue. That's why you're getting emotional so fast. Then you are less focused and you have memory problems. So you're trying to remember something that you knew but it's not coming. Or when somebody is teaching, you're less focused to understand. That's just 1 night of losing sleep. How about losing sleep after a while? Not just 1 night now, but accumulatively you have lost sleep. This becomes now very dangerous to your health. How dangerous does it get? Number 1, your risk of getting a stroke quadruples. What does quadrupling mean? times how many? Times 4. So the risk of getting a stroke is not just once or twice or thrice. 4 times you are likely to get a stroke. Number 2, a lack of sleep will increase the risk of obesity. That's a dangerous condition for your health. Just lack of sleep. What else? Lack of sleep increases the risk of certain cancers. Certain cancers. There's this research that was done that shows that early studies have linked lack of sleep to both the colorectal and aggressive breast cancers. So, if there's a link and you want to survive it, it is better to remove the thing that puts a link between you and a cancer. And then it increases the risk of diabetes. Tonight we learned about diabetes and how we can overcome it. But a lack of sleep could increase the risk. Again, heart disease. It increases the risk of heart disease. What else? Lack of sleep could even increase the risk of death. Can you imagine? You might be killing yourself. Let me read to you this study. A sleep study evaluating 1741 men and women over the course of 15 years found that men who slept fewer than 6 hours. Some men rejoice that me, I can sleep only 5 hours and still thrive. Men who slept fewer than 6 hours had a significant increase in mortality, increase in death risk, even after adjusting for diabetes, hypertension, and other factors. So, if you put aside all these other factors, like somebody have this condition and that condition, lack of sleep alone increases your risk of death. I don't want to be in that risky situation. So we have just looked at some of the effects of being sleep deprived. You still want to be? I don't want to be sleep deprived. What are some of the signs that will tell you that you don't have enough sleep? How can you know that you don't have enough sleep? Let's see a few of them. Number 1, yawning frequently. Somebody's yawning. You think, are they hungry or something? No, some of them are not hungry. They ate well, they lack sleep. What else? Frequent hunger, and somebody is longing for snacks. They are longing for what? For snacks. Number 3, falling asleep during the day, in class, in church. People are listening, you're sleeping. That might just indicate to you that your body needs more sleep, that you're not giving it. Number 4, irritability. That means somebody just does something simple, you answer, you erupt, you want to fight, that thing, you're always friendly, but when that one has happened to be, when I have not slept well, I get very impatient. So it always reminds me, oh man, you need to get more sleep. How did you answer this person? You needed to get more sleep. Forgetfulness. What you should have remembered becomes hard to remember and you forget. And number 6, another sign of sleep deprivation, frequent sickness. And why frequent sickness? Well, because when you're sleep deprived, your immune system goes down. When the immune system goes down, what happens as a result? When sickness attacks, you are taken down. So, now that you know how important sleep is, when is the ideal time to go to bed? Yes? After midnight? Yes? What is the ideal time? Benjamin Franklin, the man whose picture is on the dollar, he said, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man wealthy, healthy, and wise. Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I think I want those 3 things in my life, don't you? So what was his formula? This was a very busy man, but he had focused on productivity with his time. And so when he wanted to be productive, he realized that he needs to keep a regular schedule of sleep. And it is said that he would always sleep before 10, and then by 5, or just before 5, between 4 and 5, Benjamin Franklin would be awake. Aristotle, is reported to have said that it is well to be up before daybreak, for such habits contribute to health, wealth, and wisdom. It seems that those who have enjoyed productive lives on earth have been men who knew the importance of sleep, and that early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Another author on health put these words. She said, 1 hour of sleep before midnight is worth more than 2 after midnight. So if you had some work to do, which would be better? Should I do it until past midnight, then I sleep? Or should I save it and wake up early to do it? Save it. When you wake up, you'll wake up fresher, and your body would have had enough cycles of sleep that then will help your brain to consolidate information, and you will work faster. The writer went on to say that by studying after 9 o'clock in the evening, there is nothing gained but much lost. And medical science is now proving this. Nowadays we have people that we call a sleep professor. Sleep professors have investigated about sleep, and they're saying beyond 9 p.m., learning is much slow. You need more sleep. You need to sleep before. It is better to sleep 2 hours before midnight than to sleep 4 hours after midnight. According to this biology professor, University of Education in Germany, he wrote and said that when it comes to business success, morning people hold the cards. That means it is the morning people who rule. How many want to be successful business-wise? Business success. The morning people do what? They hold the cards. There's a book, a popular book that is called the 5 a.m. Club. How many have ever seen such a book or heard such a book? 5 a.m. Club. It talks about the people who have been successful by just waking up at 5 a.m. By the time it strikes 7, they have achieved a lot, between 5 to the time that the sun rises and the day begins. My earlier research showed that they tend to get better grades in school. These are people who sleep early and wake up early. Better grades in school, which get them to better colleges or universities. Then that leads them to better job opportunities. You need to begin that if you're a student now. If you sleep and wake up early, then better grades and better jobs. He went on to write, morning people also anticipate problems and they try to minimize them. So they plan their day, what might happen today, and they minimize them. They are proactive. Many studies have linked this trait, being proactive, with better job performance, greater career success, and higher wages. Question. If employers realize that those who sleep early and wake up early are giving better job performance, might you be surprised if at your job interview, the panel asks you, so what time do you go to bed? And what time do you wake up? And you say, how does that concern my CV? Well, it's because science has found out that those who sleep early and wake up early have better job performance, greater career success, and higher wages. So, early to bed, early to rise. It makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I want to be that man. How about you? I hope so. So what should we do to get a good night's sleep in closing tonight? What are some of the steps that will help you get a good night's sleep? Number 1, avoid caffeine. Avoid what? Caffeine. We say that God has given us water. Water is a good drink, but caffeine overstimulates the brain so that when you want to sleep, the brain is still active. It's not shutting down. Caffeine is found in coffee and things like Coca-Cola drinks. Number 2, if you want to sleep early, avoid the media. The media, this is laptop and phones, have what is called the blue light. The blue light, actually, instead of enhancing your sleep, deprives you of sleep. So generally, when you look at your phone at night, the lesser you will desire to what? To sleep. That's why if you begin looking at your phone, you may stay on it up to 11, 12, without feeling, and then later on you begin to say, my problem is, I don't feel sleepy when I go to bed. The issue is, when you go to bed, you are still looking at your phone, and so it deprives you of sleep. There are a lot of negative consequences to the blue light. Number 5, do not listen to pop music or rock music before bed. When you listen to rock music, the music full of heartbeats, it makes your body to be in that condition where sleep is hard to find. Number 4, this is a hard one. Eat light supper, or if possible, skip it altogether. Eat a light supper. When you eat a light supper, your body will finish the work of digestion, and even your stomach will get rest. The lesser work your stomach has to do, the better sleep quality you will have. Okay? So if you want to eat supper, eat it early, at least 3 hours before your bedtime, and make it lighter. Or if possible, eat early and don't eat supper. If you can eat around 3, 4, 5, then you don't need supper, then you'll have very sound and sweet sleep. Number 5, sleep with your windows what? Open. That gives you fresh air, and that gives you more oxygen to the brain, and that aids in relaxation of the body, relaxation of the mind, and you will do better. Number 6, learn to sleep on schedule and learn to sleep early. What this means is that don't sleep today at 9, and then tomorrow you're sleeping at midnight, and then the next day you're sleeping at 8, and then you're confusing the body. Learn to sleep at a regular time every day. If it's 9, let it be 9. If it's 10, make it 10. So when 10 strikes, your body knows it's time to what? To sleep. When it's 5 or 4:30, your body knows it's time to awake. Number 7, get enough sunlight during the day, because sunlight will make your body to produce, or the brain to produce, those chemicals that aid you in sleep at night. So if you expose yourself to sunlight during day, you will get quality sleep at night. So in order to boost your brain power tonight, we are learning that a good night's sleep will give you a better brain. A better brain. Early to bed, early to rise does what? It makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. How many want to be that man? Healthy, wealthy, and wise. God bless you, and thank you for coming tonight. And may God help you to take these steps and boost your brain power. Tomorrow night, we are going to be talking about feed your brain. We will talk about the brain foods that can help you to expand your brain and make you a better person. I want to be here tomorrow. Well, some of you are new tonight, and we have made the promise for this magazine. So if you're new and you'd wish to get this magazine, you just need to register. And when you register, by filling this card and dropping it for us there at those desks, then if you make 10 nights, this will be yours for free, that Amazing Facts magazine. It's full of these scientific facts that we are sharing night after night. Do we have those who came the first time and want to register for this magazine? Let me see you. It's your first time? Just raise your hand. They're going to give you the card. You can fill it. Do you need a pen? They can also help you if you need a pen. All right, just fill it out. And then, how many already registered before? Let me see you also. You already registered. Okay. So, either you registered on your card as A or B. A or B. So, those who are filling the cards, do you see whether it's A or B? I hope so. So, if you had already filled your card yesterday, you're going to go to the tables back there. Please look back. Look back. Look back to that corner. Where is table A? Table A is that hand risen. Do you see? Where is table B? Table B is one in blue. Blue top is table B. B for blue. B for blue. And then A is the other side. So let's rise up tonight. We close together. Then you can fill in your card as you drop it, as others leave. We want to thank you for coming. We welcome you again tomorrow. We are here till Sunday. We are still looking at this subject on health and much more that we will bring your way. May you bring a friend also. God bless you. Let's have a short prayer. Our Father in heaven, we know that you're a God who blesses your children. Your children spared their time to come and listen to these lectures on how to promote health. We now pray that as they leave this place, they may live with your blessing. Whatever the activities they put their hands to do, be they their businesses, or the things concerning their families or their academics, Lord, whatever part of their lives, it is our prayer that your blessing will accompany us and you will prosper us. Keep us in good health till we meet again tomorrow. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you and good night. Table A to the extreme. This is my right. Table B to my left. Good night. See you tomorrow.